Welcome back as we're looking at another chapter, chapter 22 of the Tao Te Ching, looking away from what you want. This is really about stopping wanting. This is about really kind of looking at when you want, you focus on what you don't have, right? On the things that you don't want. And recognizing that there's beauty in both of those. Right? There's beauty in not having what you want because that builds a desire for you to want. But if you can really kind of keep that under control, then you won't have these ups and downs and ins and outs of fucking that so many people have. Like, I want money, I want a big house, I want a big thing, I want a new car, I want this, I want that. It's like, well, what do you have? What is there a way to embrace the cycle of life without having to get caught up in all the wanting and the having and the possessing and the and the definitions and the identities and all of that stuff. So looking away from what you want. To become complete, know that you're partial. To become straight, know that you're crooked. To become full, know that you're empty. To be new, know that you're worn out. He who wants it all must know what all includes. Thus, the master stays centered in Tao and becomes an example for the world. Because she knows her light is forfeit, people can see it. Because she has no point to prove, people can trust her words. Because she has no identity, she becomes a mirror for others. Because she has nothing to attain, nothing can be kept from her. Thus, when it is said to be complete, know that you're partial, it is wise to heed and surrender to it. Only in living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion. The ending of that was really important to me when translating it because I want I want people who read this to understand that life is a collaboration. You're not in this alone. Like, you're in it with everything and you are part of that whole thing. You're part of the whole thing. You're connected to it all and you're not alone. You're living in collaboration. It's not about your success. It's not about your money. It's not about your house. It's not about your shit. Right. And that's what we've really started with. We've been led to believe it's about my stuff. Right? We've talked in 21 all about the idea of, I'm afraid to die, so I need my stuff. And now we're talking about, well, what is it you want? And what is that wanting giving you? Right. In the beginning, we go through these 4 things, right? You want to be complete, know that you're partial. If you want to be straight, know that you're crooked. You got to know that you're crooked when you want to be straight, because that's what you're going to start seeing. You're going to be like, I'm straight. Like, I'm on the straight and narrow, but then here are all these things that I'm not on the straight and narrow about, right? Like, I'm doing the right thing, but here are all these things that I'm not doing the right thing. And then I'm going to push those out of my awareness, and they're going to slowly creep in and get a hold of my psyche and make me anxious and make me try and hide things. And then I'm going to be nervous. People are going to see me and they're going to know, and all of that stuff, right? Like, that starts getting really convoluted. He who wants it all must know what all includes. That's a beautiful line, I think. He who wants it, do you want it all? Do you want all the money? Do you want all the property? Do you want all the stuff? Well, all of it means like none of it is also part of all of it. So you can have that as well. Now, are you going to be just as happy when you have all of it and that includes nothing? Is that going to be okay for you? Because nothing is included in everything. It is the first thing. Thus, the master, rather than being kind of guided by the stuff, rather than being guided by the wanting, rather than being guided by, focusing on one thing or another, the master stays centered in Tao and becomes an example for the world. She knows that her light is forfeit. Because she knows that her light is forfeit, people can see it. See, I was talking again in the last verse about forfeit. Like, you got to give it up. It's not yours. You're not going to take it with you. This light of life that you're carrying. Now, there's a light within you that is you, that capital Y-U. But because you know that This experience, this life is all forfeit. And the light within you is forfeit to this body. People can see it within you. And you can't want, because there's nothing more than that light within you. Nothing. And when you get to experience, and then others get to experience that light within you, they recognize this is big. And that's when people are drawn to you, and that's when people look to you. And they don't bring you conflict, right? They bring resolution, because they can see it. They can see your light, and they know that there's no way I can bring conflict to this. When you're trying to build that and you don't yet have it, people bring you all their shit. That's all these coaches out there and stuff that are like attracting all these victim people and all these things. They're attracting it all because they're really not, they still have want. They're not in touch with their light yet, you know. And it's the people that are like, whatever. I'm here and I'm living, and I'm just interacting with who I interact with, and I'm allowing it all to be without wanting, without ambition, without all that bullshit. Like, I'm just here being. Those are the masters, right? Those are the people that are approaching master. I don't know that there's any masters today. I'm definitely not a master, right? Because she has no point to prove, people can trust her words. Another simple thing, like the moment you have something to prove to somebody, why would anybody trust you? The moment you have something to gain, why would anybody trust you? You know. Now I know we're in a state right now in which we are, totally lost, and that's a whole nother thing. When you're in a state that is lost, well, doing things that are aligned with being lost are commonplace. So yeah, maybe you trust the words of famous people because they have things to gain, right? Like Gwyneth Paltrow or whatever, right? She's got partnerships with all these products, and then you're going to trust her word on, coffee enema or whatever it is she's hawking these days. And there's nothing bad about that, right? Like that's just where we are, and that's where we are as a society. That's where, and she's aligned with that. So there it is. Because she has no identity, she becomes a mirror for others. So this is the thing. The more you attach to your identity, when you listen to people, you listen in order to respond. You don't listen to speak, or you don't listen to allow Tao to work through you. It is that collaboration. Like when you have no identity, other people see themselves and they heal because they're like, oh, I see me and I'm embarrassed by who I've become, and that's not a bad thing. Like necessarily, like I know I've been embarrassed by my drug use, my alcohol use, my smoking, my, porn and masturbating. And I've been embarrassed by all sorts of stuff. Right. And when I see it, I can go, oh, you know what? I don't like that I do this. So if you've heard me talk before, you know that I have this thing where I tell my clients, look, if you don't like that, you do it, and that's something to recognize. You can like something, but you might not like that you're doing it right now. And it's good just to be aware of that. That doesn't mean you have to stop doing it. It just means you need to be aware of it. And the more aware you are of the things that you do that you don't like that you do, well, then you change. And that is what we can offer others when we don't have an identity. When we let go of our identity, they can see themselves and help themselves, because you can't help anybody. Another quote I have of mine, which is like, do you think you can help other people? You're wrong. There are no other people. It's just you. They see themselves through you. And that's, and if you don't have an identity, you're not trying to get them to see you in any certain way. Who cares how they see you? They see you as an asshole. They see you as a liar. They see you as a fucking ignorant, whatever. That's their business. They're only seeing themselves anyway. Because she has nothing to attain, nothing can be kept from her. And this is like the big culmination of connecting with Tao, right? Like, you want something. Well, as soon as you want something, it's being kept from you, right? Like until you can achieve it, until you can have it, until you can get it, right? But when you have nothing to attain, everything is at your disposal. Right? Everything just comes to you. Why? Because nothing is being kept from you. Why? because you don't want anything. Everything's fine. Everything's here. And you have access to it all. You've always did. You always did. You always will. Thus, when it is said to be complete, know that you're partial. Now, this is where it all wraps up. Like if you want to become complete, know that you're partial. Know that it's not you. It's not you. Like your identity, your bullshit, your mind. That's not you. Like there's a capital U, capital Y, you out there that's connected to everything. To become complete, know that you're partial. It is wise to heed and surrender to it. Only by living in collaboration with Tao can one find completion. You and your mind and your body and your limited manifestation, as we talked about in the last verse, can't comprehend what complete is. Because you have all these wants in order to be complete. I want a car. I want money. I want this. I want that. And as you go out in the world and trying to find those things, you start noticing all that you don't have. And those pile up bigger and faster than the things that you do have. And then all of a sudden, you're lost. You're lost in a world of your identity. Give it up. All right. Thank you so much for joining me for this chapter 22 of the Tao Te Ching. Looking away from what you want. Thank you so much once again. I'm Martin John, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.